Hello, beautiful souls. Elena here. I am in southern France, the base of the Pyrenees Mountains, basically near the northern border of Spain and the southern border of France. It's a beautiful part of the world. It's quite cold in the moment. It's 0 degrees today, freezing today, literally. And I wanted to share an insight I had about insomnia, specifically working with meditation to help me, go to sleep at night, or if you're someone who wakes up a lot and you use meditation to go back to sleep. I don't talk about insomnia a lot because it's something that I work with in myself. I have slept poorly most of my adult life, as far as I can remember, and I often don't get revelations about how to do it better. And I did. So, um, yeah, it felt really important. So I want to share this with you. So here we go. It's something that I've started to refer to as melting into. And so let me tell you the story. So there I am. Normally it takes me about an hour to fall asleep. It's called sleep latency. Mine's bad. It takes an hour. Well, I about half an hour in when I realized, wow, I'm nowhere near sleep. I reflected that I had a whole bunch of green tea, like really strong green tea, really late in the day, and yep, that was keeping me awake. And in fact, it took me about 3 hours that night to fall asleep, which even for me is like, woof. Well, and the nice thing about it was that I was so wired, like so awake for so long, that my usual meditation practice that I do when I'm having that kind of crazy sleep latency, I was super awake even while I was doing it. So it really helped me see like the mental processes that I go through during my meditation to fall asleep. And I realized that it's really easy to be using meditation to fall asleep and to at some point be like, oh, this is not working. Oh my God, why am I not asleep yet? Rah! Just to go into frustration, right? And because I was so awake during the whole process and thus really easily aware of what was happening, I realized that, okay, so if here's me awake, and as I'm sinking down into restfulness and calmness and at some point asleep, right? That as I was using meditation to sink a little bit, I would start to get frustrated that I wasn't more relaxed, and I would, instead of continuing to relax, I would get frustrated and go back up and be totally awake again, right? So I would have meditated for a while, gotten to this point, and then be like, oh, I'm not asleep, super frustrated. So that's the melting, okay? It's not what do I mean by that? Melting is I'm meditating and I'm getting just maybe 10% more relaxed. And if I can view that as, okay, this is like the iceberg is melting, the piece of glass is melting, I am melting into relaxation. And even though it's only 10% more, if I can just be happy that I'm 10% more relaxed, I'm 10% calmer, I'm 10%, closer to sleep, then even if I don't get any closer, that's still like that much calmer, that much more relaxed, right? And therefore that much less energy that my body is spending. So even if I never get more than 10% more relaxed and more calm, I will be 10% more rested. And so maintaining that kind of idea, okay, I'm melting slowly into sleep. And if I never get there, I'm at least this much closer. And maintaining that mindset, what it did was allowed me to relax into 10% more. I'm still not asleep. It's okay. I'm 10% more relaxed, 10% calmer, using 10% less energy. I'm going to be 10% more rested at the end of the night. And then, lo and behold, what happened? I melted further. I got even 10% more relaxed. So now I'm 20% more relaxed. Still not asleep, still wired, still very much awake, and yet 20% calmer. And so it was to stay in this state and be happy and relaxed with just being 20% more relaxed, 20% calmer, using 20% less energy, and knowing I'm going to be 20% more rested. And as I was able to do this for, 3 hours, I got 10% more, right? And so now I'm 30% more relaxed, 30% more calm, and using 30% less energy. And as long as I could do that, I was good. And of course, I would pop out and be like, oh, this is so frustrating. I'm still awake. Oh, it's been 2 hours. I would be like, okay, Elena, melt. Let it melt. It's going to melt slowly. Melting is not in an instant, right? Melting is a slow process. It's a slow process. And as I was okay with it being a process, eventually the caffeine wore off. And of course, I was expediting the whole process by slowly letting my system relax. And that was brilliant. So I wanted to share that with you because it was so clear to me that as I was able to let meditation do its work and to relax into it without grasping and then getting, grasping to what the result that I wanted, and thus getting tense and frustrated and going right back up to being wide awake again, as I was able to just relax, okay, this is where I'm at, and this is fine. This is okay. I can relax right here. Right? So it's that whole idea of like active surrender, surrendering, melting, being okay with where I am, not getting frustrated or grasping for what I want and the goal, and instead just being okay with where I am, and then magically being okay with that place allows me to melt even farther. Beautiful. I hope that helps. Give it a try if it makes sense to you. And may you go to sleep faster, and don't drink tons of green tea right before you go to bed. Well, unless you want to really practice with this for like 3 hours. It's a great way to do it. All right. Take care. See you next time. Big hugs. Bye.